Have you ever looked back on your photographs and wondered where you made some photos, where they were from, where you were standing? Well, you can geotag photos. And today I want to show you two products that can help you geotag your photographs if your camera does not have GPS built in. Hey, this is Scott Weidenkipowitz. I am a big fan of geotagging photographs for many reasons. Two of which being I like reminiscing and seeing where I made a photograph. I also like blogging. Okay, three things. I like blogging about photographs and talking about where they were made. And the third is that search engines will soon be looking at geo-metadata to know where the photo is taken so that it can help your photos rank better. Now, a lot of cameras these days, I'm not going to say a lot, some cameras these days are coming out with built-in GPS. Some cameras accept external GPS units, but not all of them. And I'm so surprised at this day and age it's not built into every single camera, every professional camera that comes out. Hopefully that will change very soon. What I do is I have two methods, and I have an app method that's an iOS and Android method, and I also have a hardware method that I use. The app method is called GPS 4 Cam Pro. I've written about this in the past. I've done videos on this in the past. But basically, it's an app that just looks sort of like this. And it just allows you to start tracking different settings for accuracy and battery life. When you're all done, you can export a file to Dropbox. You can also take a picture of your screen's QR code, which will help you sync it up later. But you can export the GPX file from the app to your Lightroom, and then import the GPX file there and sync up all the photos based on the timestamps. And it'll actually sync up the location of where you were at the time. So it's great. The downside is it relies on cell phone-based GPS. While cell phone-based GPS is still pretty good, it's not 100% accurate, and it doesn't work everywhere in the world. So there are times where it's not reliable. So my recommendation for when you're in that situation is to get something like a Garmin Tactics or Garmin Phoenix, any Garmin watch, that has GPS built in and allows you to access the GPX file that is recorded and then utilize that, send that to your computer so you can then use that inside of Lightroom. So what I have is actually the original Garmin Tactics watch, and as you can see, it's not set up like a watch. Now, I do not like wearing watches. I had a Pebble, I had an Apple Watch. I do not like them. I don't like wearing this. Look how big that sucker is. But it's big for a reason. Really good battery life. It is a smartwatch. It does interact with your phone if you want. And of course, it's Garmin. It has GPS built in. This is also a water resistant watch, so it can take it's also a very durable military type spec. So it can take a beating. It can get wet. No problems there. But what I did is I actually purchased this sort of conversion adapter from Garmin that allows you to convert it from a watch to a little carabiner clip. And now I can carabiner to my pants. I can carabiner it to my camera bag, whatever I want. It is there, it is recording, and it is safe, and it is going to make sure that my photographs are going to be geotagged later on because it is recording very precise GPS data no matter where I am in the world. So that is my go-to, really, in the end, is the Garmin. I do have the these days I'm using GPS 4 Cam sort of as a backup when I'm just like around wherever and don't have the Garmin with me is when I'm using GPS 4 Cam. So if you go to the Garmin website and you start scrolling down under the wearables section, you'll see there's the Phoenix 5. There's a whole bunch. I think you used to be able to filter by what has GPS, but it doesn't look like they have that anymore. So not all of them have GPS anymore, but you can see here the Vivo has a GPS. You just have to make sure that it can export the GPX files. The Phoenix and the Tactics are basically the same watches. The Tactics are more military specs, whereas the Phoenix are more like consumer specs. And you can see there's just a bunch of different options. You can even get some fancier one if you want to. They're not inexpensive, especially the Phoenix line. The standard Vivo lines are definitely more affordable. There's also the Forerunner, which is sort of a sporty one that also has GPS in it. And there's ones that even look like an Apple Watch. And they definitely all have better battery life than the Pebbles and the Apple Watches out there. And they also, a lot of them are also feature rich. So it's just a matter of figuring out what works best for you. And not all of them have it. If you are like me and you want the carabiner style, not all of them offer the carabiner style. So that's that. So that's what I recommend. Start with a Garmin watch. And if you're like me, convert it to carabiner style. Otherwise, check out GPS 4 Cam Pro. The Pro version gives you a little bit more features. And if you do have an Apple Watch or a Pebble, GPS 4 Cam Pro will actually work with your Apple Watch. So you can start it and stop it and track everything right from your watch or your Pebble as well. But Pebble was acquired by Fitbit, and I think Fitbit said they're shutting down Pebble, something like that. So who knows? But anyway, that's how you can track where you've been, where you made photos, and go back to it later on. I forgot one more thing. If you would like to learn how I actually do my geotagging inside of Lightroom, check out my course, Camera to Completion Lightroom Workflow course. It actually will walk through not only my Lightroom workflow and my recommendations of how for you to figure out your own Lightroom workflow, but one of the lessons is actually geotagging photographs inside of Lightroom based on the GPX file that you'll get either out of your phone or your GPS, your Garmin GPS. So check that out. I will link to that in the description for this video.